Hey, what's up, creative art? No, this is stock options. Yep. What's up, LJ? Excuse me. Did any of you take any trades today? Did anyone take any day trades today? Oh, you took two trades, LJ. What did you trade today? Which stock did you choose? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still waiting for Tesla to make a move. Yeah, it's not doing too much right now. Because what time did you jump into a trade? Yeah, I took Tesla and AMD today. I took a low position because I got in late for a Tesla, so I just took a low position trade for Tesla, and that was let me see, for Tesla it was. So in my swing account that I had, remember I mentioned earlier today, I said I had two swing positions, one for Tesla and one for AMD. The AMD made over $800, right? So I locked in that one. Well, It was close to 900, but then it dropped. It had that drop after that nice push higher. So I think I got out at like a little over 700. And my Tesla swing is currently down today $56. Overall, 139 or $140. But these were already running. But the trades that I took today, oops, didn't mean to click that. The trades that I took today netted me 1,600. It was close to 2,000. It was close to 2,000. So, but AMD fell a little bit. So when AMD was falling, I took one sniper trade toward the downside. That was a quick $200 in like, man, I think it was. Let me look at my journal. But that was really quick. Let's see that AMD put took 6 minutes, and I made close to $200 on it. And then when AMD finished falling, once it reached the bottom, I waited for confirmation that it was going to, push higher. And I took that trend. I took a trade and rode that trend all the way up to where it's at now, and made made man, like I said, it was as high as almost $2,000, but now it's at 1,400. I still have 12 contracts running. So hopefully, I don't know if you can see this or not. But so I got, I had 20, wait, what did I have? Like 30 contracts. I had like 30 contracts. I had a bunch of them. But of the 20, I sold 18, and that one made over 930. And the 10 that's still running is down $580. So I'm just waiting for. Let me go back to AMD. So as you can see right here, we're just consolidating around the 5-minute high. So I'm just waiting for it. Tried to push higher. It tried to push higher, but then we, fell again. So, but as long as buyers hold this key level, I'll stay in this position. If we fall below the 5-minute high, then I'm gonna just cut my losses here and just, deal with the. Currently is at, what is that, 1,400? Yeah, $1,400. So I'll just cut my losses if it drops below the 5-minute high. Let's see. Let's see. What else you guys got? LJ says, nice. Olu, hey, what's up, everybody? Island Child Creations, what's up? Hey, everybody, glad you're here. Free, what's up? Let's see. Yeah, I'm live. Hey, Susanna. You said, wow, bastard. Nah, it's just, yeah, I mean, things are clicking. It's just, once it clicks, that's pretty much it. No pun intended. Not trying to spit bars right now. But I'm looking for a trade. I don't see any right now, but I'm still looking to see if we can do a live trade. Today, I'm just currently just managing these couple of positions that I got, but I took a Tesla trade too, day trade. It's currently down $22. It was up as high as $8. The contract, so I bought two, right? The contract was $175 each, right? Like $175. So yeah, it was up 80. It was up 80, but Tesla started falling. So I'm just waiting for it to see what it's going to do. Currently, it's reaching my threshold, my stop loss limit. I'm gonna stay in this for maybe like 10%. I don't know. I'm just trying to see what Tesla's going to do, and then I'll decide to cut my position. You can see between uh, these two numbers, how much I was close to 2K, but just waiting to see what happens. Let's see. Free, you live trade all day? I try not to. These are, I got in. I wasn't even going to trade today because I already made, $900. And then I was like, man, it's too hard to pass these opportunities up. So I went ahead and jumped into a trade. Um, so typically it takes me like the first, I don't know, 30 minutes, anywhere between, 15, 30 minutes, and then I'm done for the rest of the day. I might just be managing some trailing positions, but that's it. Um, let's see. Susanna says, same boat here, but I only got one. Uh, yeah, she did drop quite a bit. Susanna said, no, I don't think she hates you. She's just showing you love right now. It's just a little love right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this AMD. Man, AMD was doing so well. Oh well. I'm gonna just go ahead and cut this. Give me a second. Let me cut this position. I gave it enough time. As you can see, like before I cut this position, I just want to show you all a couple of things that I'm looking at. This, hopefully, you all can see this on TikTok, but this wick on this up close candle, I was looking at this, so I was waiting for AMD to pick a direction. It tried to push higher at this point, but we failed. Sellers fought back, and now I'm just waiting to see. Okay, are we going to close below this level, this wick, or are we going to, will buyers step in aggressively and hold this key level here? So I don't know. I'm just waiting. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more patient, see what it does. But other than that, yep. Susanna says, "Hi." She always takes my poor money. Yeah, I know. Like, I wouldn't have. Now today wasn't really like there was no break. There wasn't really a. How do I say this? Not at the beginning, right? There wasn't a break and retest for Tesla by the time you might have tried to enter in, right? If I go to, oh yeah, there was. So let me switch. Yeah, there was a break and retest. Let's look at Tesla really quick. But you see what's happening with AMD. So I don't know. AMD might push higher. Buyers appear to be stepping in to push the price higher. So we'll see. I'm gonna hold on to it a little bit more. Um, but I'm ready to cut it. If it keeps acting up, I'm ready to cut it. All right. But let's see. Let's look at Tesla. I'm going to duplicate this so I can keep an eye out on. Actually, let me just set an alert. Let's set an alert here. All right. Let's take a look at Tesla. Let me switch. All right. So if we're using the break and retest strategy, excuse me, let me restate. Using the break and retest strategy, we're looking for an entry. And to determine that, we obviously need key levels. In this example, I'm going to use the first 5-minute high and 5-minute low. All right. 5-minute high and 5-minute low. Now, you might not be able to see it, but here is the 5-minute high. And it's at the same level as this green line here, which represents the previous day low. Okay, now I'm going to, let me see, can I hide some of these drawings? Okay, yeah, this should be good. Oh, but it won't let me use the drawing tool if that's the case. Oh, well. Let me switch to a different chart. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now let's go to mark out the first 5 minutes of Tesla. And I'm on the 1-minute time frame. FYI, I'm on the 1-minute time frame. And I'm just going to mark out the, let me turn this off. I'm going to mark the low. This is the low of the first 5 minutes, right? And I'm going to mark the high. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's mark the high for this. All right, so now that we have our first 5-minute opening range marked out, because as soon as the market opens, as soon as the session opens, just wait for the first 5 candles to form or complete. And then once that 5th candle closes, mark the highest point of that candle and then mark the lowest point of the first candle, right? All right, so now that we have the high and the low boxed in, what we're waiting for, let me activate my drawing tool here. What we're waiting for is either a break below the 5-minute high or a break above the 5-minute high. So initially, after after breaking above the 5-minute high, we wicked with this candle here. We wicked above the 5-minute high, but fell below it. All right, we fell below it. A little bit of consolidation before the push higher. And you can see this was a nice push. All right, we first candle to close above the 5-minute high. Then we had a second and a third. We pushed as high as 349 even, but then sellers fought back and we ended up closing at 348. All right, for this third candle that broke above the 5-minute high. Now, for the break and retest, we're just simply waiting for a pullback, which in this case, we're just waiting for sellers to push price lower towards the 5-minute high, It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be in the zone, right? In that area code. All right. It doesn't have to touch it perfectly. It just needs to be within that area code. Simple as that. All right. Now, this is textbook. This is textbook because we had this nice aggressive down close candle, right? This represents the seller side of things. And the next candle, nice push. We had a wick below the 5-minute candle, or excuse me, the 5-minute key level, the 5-minute high. We had a wick here. And buyer stepped in aggressively, pushed the price higher, right? We opened at 346, fell to as low as 346.19. Buyer stepped in aggressively to push the price higher. Now, when could you have entered? You could have entered. I'm going to get rid of this, change the drawing tool. Brush. Now, for me, I would have entered like right here, right at this point. But you could have waited until the candle closed, at this level. Okay, it's up to you. I like to enter here because it's low risk. This is considered a low risk entry, an aggressive low risk entry, but potentially offers higher rewards. All right, and then my risk level would be just below the wick of the candle I entered on. So we can mark that out here. Okay, so just below the candle I entered on. So I like to keep my risks, my stop loss limit tighter, tighter than what my mentor does, um, because this is comfortable for me. I'm not comfortable with the amount of money that he likes to risk. All right. So with that said, you could have entered anywhere on this candle. So you could have entered aggressively here, like I would have done, or you could have entered at the close of this candle. Either one is fine. Now, you would have had to sit through, hopefully you all can see this, you would have had to sit through some drawdown, right? There would have been a drawdown on your initial position because this next candle here wicked all the way to this point. So if you did enter at the close of this candle, yeah, you would have suffered a drawdown initially on your position. So if you had, let's say, $100 position, you might have experienced, man, that could have been, let's see, we can calculate this easily. So if we're at 347.39 and we drop to 346, almost a dollar, then you would have lost, depending on the delta that you chose. So if you chose a 0.20 delta, that would have been a $20 loss. So if your position total was 100, you would have suffered initially a $20 loss on your position. All right. So you would have saw that as soon as you entered the position after the candle closed, you would have entered your $100 position and you would have started to see immediately, you're starting to lose money, and that would have been a $20 loss initially, drawdown, not loss, drawdown on the position. Okay, so that would have brought you down to $80 from, if we're using the $100 in this example. Okay, now this is why you want to practice trading via paper, because you want to see every time you trade, what is the average drawdown on my position? This is going to help prepare you mentally to live trade with real money so you don't get nervous and get scared and exit too early. All right, because you don't want to do that. If you do that, if you're jumping out of trades because you're losing money the moment you get in, then you're trading your P&L and not the strategy. And that's what you want to try to avoid. So pick an amount that's comfortable. All right. That's why I'm showing people how to trade the lower delta contracts. These are the cheaper contracts. So it's much more uh, flexible, right, for you to sit through these types of pullbacks. Now, if you chose a $50, or excuse me, a 0.50 delta contract for that $100 position, then you would have lost, or excuse me, you would have suffered an initial $50 drawdown on that $100 position. So you would have lost half of your uh, position, right? Right at in the next candle, you would have lost almost half. That's why I recommend trading with the lower deltas. All right, so hold on, let me check AMD. Come on, AMD, what are you doing? Okay, what are you doing right now? Hold on, give me a second. Let's see what we got going on here. Do you all have any questions while I'm watching AMD? Let's see. Fee, is this option trading? Yes. Is it Fay? I'm sorry, not Fee. That's probably Fay, pronounced Fay, right? Yes, this is options trading. Let's see. Island Child says, I started back testing to help me feel comfortable too. Yes. Good job. Nice job, Island Child. Creations. Nice job. Let's see. I started back testing to help me feel more comfortable. Faye, the first is correct, not Faye. Oh, Fee? Oh, sorry about that. I apologize. I apologize. Let's see. Appreciate that. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the follows. You see how on this AMD trade, I'm glad that you all are on so I can show you how I'm managing the position because I'm using that wick that I showed you earlier and I marked an alert on that level because the stock is going to fall and yes, I am losing some money on that trade, but I remember I made 2,000 today, so I'm only risking the market's money. I'm not risking any of my own money. I made 2,000 from the market, and now I'm just risking the $700 of the market's money. So right. So here you can see if I go back to positions. So, oops, can't see that, can you? So yeah, so I was up almost $2,000 of the market's money. So I'm just risking the market's money. So that's why you want to, manage your position effectively, get in, get out, make your money. Especially when you're dealing with your own money, right? You don't want to lose your own money. And when you get some of the market's money, don't give it all back. I'm not giving it all back. I'm just managing the position because this is okay. Like you can expect to, I've been watching the market for a while, right? For over a year. And I've been trading since the latter part of April this year, right? And I've been watching very carefully, journaling all my trades, paper trading included. And I've been watching what is the amount that I could expect to sit through in terms of the drawdown on these positions, right? And this right now is 30%. So this is a max, right? I'll go as high as 50 of the market's money. I'll go as high as 50% of the market, not my own. So when I first enter a trade, if this is with my own money, right? So let's say since yesterday I won 2,700. I'm not going to risk 50% of 2,700. I'm not going to do that. But if I enter a trade, let's say I enter a $100 position today and I make 1,000, then I'll risk 50% of that to make more if I believe the stock is going to continue to climb at some point. So let's see. Susanna said, what happened? What happened? What happened, Susanna? Are you in the trade right now? Do you need me to help you out? Let's see. Yeah, let me know. Let's see. Yeah, 50% of the market's money, not my own, but yeah, the market's money. I'll make I'll do that because I believe you can see here that when you look at AMD, look at how it's pushing. You could tell that it wants to push higher. Look at this V-shaped recovery. This is crazy. Now, this line here, this green line, this is the previous day high. This is yesterday's high. So we made this nice push right at the open. Let me switch. I'm going to come back to that. Let's go. AMD, because I want you all to see this clearly. Look, we pushed higher. As soon as we opened, we made this nice push from 180 to almost 187, right? So that's a $7 move. That's a $7 move. And we dropped liquidity, just lost all of that liquidity, right? The whole $7 gone. So, but what I was looking for is, okay, will buyers step in and hold this previous day high? Because that's the most important thing for a continuation higher. It's natural for us to pull back. You might not want it to pull back as low as $7, but it's natural for the stock to pull back. It's always going to pull back at some point, right? Price only goes in two directions, so it doesn't have a choice. But for me, I made so much money off of AMD overnight coming into today. I'm like, oh shoot, I made $1,000 as soon as the market opened, right? Off of AMD. So now, soon as it dropped, I was like, okay, we're still defending the previous day high, so I'm going to jump in another trade and make another 1,000. So that's all it was, and you just want to keep an eye out on these, key levels. What is the stock doing? And that's going to help you determine if you want to jump out the trade or not. Once you get a nice cushion uh, behind you, right? Let's see. Susanna says, "All right, tap 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 your screen." As soon as I appreciate that too because, ladies and gentlemen, if I can get to 1,000 followers on TikTok, they said the documentation says that I can get a stream key. Then I can share my screen on TikTok versus streaming from this mobile device. So then everyone will be able to see everything so much clearer, right? That's what my goal is. So yeah, help me get there, people. Help me get there. Let's see. Susanna says, I hope we have a jump in power hour. Yeah, typically, what time is it? It's one. Yeah, this is it. This is it. So 2:30 Eastern is I believe it's 2:30 Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's 2:30. And you can see what's happening. 1:30 for me, 2:30 for Eastern folks. All right. So yeah, you can see, look at this. That's what I was waiting for. I didn't want to jump out of the trade too early because let's say I had jumped out as soon as the stock fell and it's down $700 and I'm like, I'm losing money, then a couple of minutes later, you see this nice push and you're like, oh man, that's what you don't want to do, right? Because then you might try to jump into the next trade trying to chase after the money. And so I'd rather just hold it, mark out a key level, take my time, make sure you know, I'm seeing the board clearly. And if that's the case, then I'll go ahead and stay in the trade. Let's see. Susanna, he said she likes to play with your body. She is something else, right? She is something else. Tyro, is that? Hold on, am I seeing that correctly? Tyro Neely. Can I call you T? I don't want to mispronounce your name. Hi, can you explain how you predicted that continuous drop there? Yeah, so what I look for, and you'll get signs, these are the signals that you can use as confirmation. I'm trying to zoom in so you all on TikTok can see this. Let me know if you're having difficulty seeing this on the screen. Okay, I'm going to use my arrow tool. Look at the wicks on the down close candles. Every time we push higher, look at the wicks on the down close candles, okay? When we reach a new high, start looking at the wicks on the down close candles, okay? And you can see, like, as soon as this is the highest point the price rose, right? Now look at the wick on this up close candle. Buyers are trying to push, but sellers are stepping in more aggressively. And so you have this continuous sequence of down close candles, right? So this is going to tell you, like, keep an eye out on this because if you look at the trend itself, how many down close candles do you see in the trend as we continue higher? If we start to count to get an average, we got 3 down close candles here before continuation, 1 continuation, 3 attempted continuation, 2 more continuation, 2 some continuation, slight pullback, right? 2 more green candle, 2 more greens. And then now, okay, some consolidation between this point. And now we're trying to push higher. But during the new push, down close candle, push, down close candle, push. Keep an eye out on this activity because I try to simplify this so you all don't, try to get too caught up in the technicality or the terms of what other traders are using. Just look at the price. These down close candles represents sellers are trying to push the price lower. And how often, look at the tape. What's the size of the candles? You don't even have to try to read and remember the different candle types, but just look at the price. Okay, if we were here at 185, where did we drop? 184. That's a dollar move. All right. So if you look at here, where did we drop? From 186 to 185, a dollar move. If you do this every time you're watching the stock as it begins to either increase in price or drop in price, look at the average. So you don't even have to look at, the candles in particular. Look at the price. Focus on the price. I highly recommend everyone to just focus on the price. What is the move average? All right. So from here to here, 183 to here, 182 dollar move. From here, the top 184.73 to 184 or 183.84 dollar move. Same thing, dollar move. So if you look at that average, then you'll say like, okay, now if I start to drop, $1.50 to $2, then that's probably a signal for me that hey, there might be a reversal. But if it's just pulling back a dollar, then and you still have continuation after that, that's what you're looking for. Oh, okay, a dollar, a dollar. Now look, you asked me how did you see the downtrend? Well, look, we start at the top 186, we fell a dollar, 185. We tried to continue, but we couldn't. We fell another dollar. So now I'm just like, yo, it would be time to either exit the long position if you're in the long position at this point, or take a short position to try to hedge your long position if you want to stay in a little bit longer. But that's how I check it. I just look at the average dollar amount the stock is moving during the trend, and if it moves beyond below or how do I describe that? If I'm in a long position toward the upside, and if it moves a dollar on average for the pullback, then soon as it starts to increase from a dollar to $1.50 or $2, then I might be like, okay, now it's time to get out because this was a nice trend, and I caught a sniper play. I think it was this one. I think it was this candle. Yep, I think it was this candle right before it consolidated. So yeah, Island Child says, "Oh, good point. Looking at the money moves in particular, yeah. So you can look at. I don't want you to get, you know, too caught up in the terms. I think that is part of the thing that confuses new traders, right? But look at what you see. Look at the tape of these candles. How how drastically is price moving? Um, Now look at the momentum. Look at the speed and momentum of these up close candles, right? These are 1 minute candles. Boom. Look at these two. Nice push higher, consecutive push higher. Look at these candles. Green, green, green. This one, this one. That shows you that buyers are trying to keep pushing, they're trying to continue to push this price higher. Look at the consecutive green candles in this trend, right? The trend continues or picks up here. Look at the consecutive candles here. That's what I'm looking at. That and price. Okay. So I'm just like, all right, what is the stock doing? I'm not letting the P&L cloud my judgment. That's what the key thing is to like manage your mind to not focus on the P&L. That's why I highly recommend choosing the lower delta contract so you can not focus on the P&L so heavily. All right. Let's see. PNB says, do you think XRP will go back down again? Now, I don't trade XRP, but I could take a look at it. Let's see. Yeah, what did you say? It's XRP. I don't even know what XRP is. Is it this crypto market cap XRP? Let me know if which is the correct one. Yeah, which is the correct ticker. Yes, it's at 320. All right, hold on. Let's see. Oh, can't be this one. This is 193. Oops. Jeez. Come on, reset. Hold on. XRP. It's probably. Yeah, what's the symbol next to it? That's the one that I need to find. Are you in TradingView right now? Coinbase? All right, so this is it. 3, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, so this one, man, there's yeah, see this, and your question is, do you think XRP will go back down again? Let's zoom out and see. Right now, this tells me that it's in consolidation. It hasn't even picked the direction yet, right? So you can see that from today, right? What is this? Go here. So let's start at 9:20 today. 9:20. This will be 10:20 Eastern. All right. So if you mark this out, Let me mark this out on the chart for you. See this. This is easy to see visually, right? So you could just box this in, and this is the type of stuff like you want to ignore depending on the strategy. I can't speak for every strategy. All right. So you have to, determine what your strategy is and how you plan to trade these particular stocks. But for me, this looks like consolidation because it's not going higher or lower. It reached a low point. Now it's just consolidating from that point. This was the highest point today, it looks like. After we dropped, now we're just consolidating. So I just mark out the high of this point and the low of this point. And until we break out above 332, then I would say no, I don't expect it to go higher. It could, but until it breaks above this level, I would say no. And once it breaks above this level, 332, I would need to see it break above and then come back to use this as support. Can we use this level 331 or 332 as support? So even if you see it break above, you don't want to jump into a trade and chase after it. You want to see that it's going to come back, wait for buyers to step in, and make sure that we're using this price point at 332 as support. That's what I would do. All right. Does that answer your question? I was thinking the same thing, but I just wanted another option. I'm a beginner. Yeah, I'm a beginner too. My knowledge is limited. There's quite a bit that I understand. And when it comes to investing, I just understand money. All right. I've been really good at managing money for a long time. I'm 46 years of age. I'm 46 large. So that's why this is easy pretty easy for me because I'm used to managing money. With that said, let's see. Let's peek at AMD. What is AMD doing right now? What are you doing, AMD? Oh, looks like we're climbing. We're climbing. All right. So, any other questions? I might have missed some people. I apologize if I did. Let me know. Can you repost your questions if I miss them? Because trying to scroll up is horrible in this TikTok UI, man. It's terrible. If I missed your question, please post it in the live chat and I'll answer now. Let's see. The Real T. I love your handle, by the way. The Real T. I'm late in joining, but when is the next one? So I think we're gonna move the time to the mornings. All right, because every week Wednesday I was doing a live mock trade and doing a Q&A every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, right? And I've decided to move it uh, to the mornings because there's more volatility in the morning time. So right in as soon as the market opens at 8:30 a.m. East, or excuse me, Central, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So you could catch me every Wednesday starting next week, every Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 Eastern. Okay. Let's see. And you can always, if you can't make it, the Real T, if ever you can't make it, or let's assume that you did make it and you have to drop for some reason, whatever reason, I can provide you with the link to access the replay. So you'll always have access to the replay to watch at your convenience. All right. So, any other questions? If no other questions, let's get back to this Tesla break and retest explanation. You're welcome, the Real T. You're very, very welcome. All right, let me get back in here. Give me a second. Let's do this. All right. Okay, Tesla is still falling. Nothing new there. All right, let's get back to this explanation for the break and retest strategy. Now, let me do a recap because I did answer a couple of questions. So, just for those who might have joined recently, what we're looking at is Tesla, and we're identifying the strategy in this demonstration is called the break and retest strategy. Break and retest strategy, just in case you want to look this up at some point, Google or ChatGPT it. It's the break and retest strategy. And with the break and retest strategy, what you need is key levels, right, to determine your entry and exit points. In this demonstration, what we already have marked out, which is shown here, this white line is represents the 5-minute high, and this bottom white line represents the 5-minute low. So given the break and retest strategy, once you have your key levels drawn on your chart, you're simply waiting for a break above your drawn key level or break below the key level. And so in this demonstration, we're waiting for a break above the 5-minute high. All right, let me activate my drawing tool here. All right, so now that we finally have the break above, we were talking about where to enter the trade. All right, so once we have a break above, and to make this very clear, a break above the 5-minute high means we have a candle closure above the 5-minute high, and we have that here. Okay. And then you want some continuation. All right. And we have that. So we have 2 additional candles above the 5-minute high. This is nice. Now we reached as high as 349. Sellers stepped in and pushed the price lower. That's okay. We want that. We want pullback towards or in the area code of the 5-minute high. All right. It doesn't have to touch it exactly. Just consider the key level drawn here as a pricing zone. It could be $1 above or $1 below. All right. We just needed to pull within the area code of this key level. Once it does that, that's condition number 2, right? That's the break and retest. So we had the break and then we had the retest. All right. Now we need the entry. So the conditions for the entry is simple. We're waiting for confirmation that buyers are going to step in aggressively and possibly push the price higher. What are we looking for? This candle is a good example of that. Now, obviously, if I were to come over to a live chart, let's see if we could see the candle on a 1 minute time frame, right? I want to see if we can capture what speed and momentum looks like. And then we'll come back. We can catch it. So what we're looking for is the speed at which this candle is forming. Because we're on the 1 minute chart, the 1 minute time frame, every candle takes 60 seconds to develop, right? Or to form. All right. And so what you're looking for is how quickly is this candle forming? Notice you see how quickly it's starting to form. That's what you're looking for. All right. Speed and momentum. We got 8 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You see that? You see that nice spike? That's what you're looking for. All right. So if we jump back over to Tesla, all right, imagine that candle, this candle doing the same thing we just saw for that down close candle on that AMD chart. All right, so we open here at 346. At the bottom of this green candle is where we opened when the candle started, right? This is where it opened. At some point after the open of this candle, sellers stepped in to push the price lower. This is the lowest point the price fell on this candle, right? 346. All right. And then buyers said, all right, we had enough. And they stepped in aggressively and pushed the price higher to 347. And this is where it closed. All right, 347. So you could have entered your position. You could have entered a position for Tesla at the close of this candle. At the close of this candle. For me, I like to enter more aggressively. So I would have entered here. Once I saw the wick on this candle, as soon as we broke back above the 5 minute high, remember this is that key level, I would have entered my position here. Okay. Now, where are we going to get out? Where are we going to exit the trade? Especially if we only bought one contract. Well, that's easy. That's easy. What I like about the break and retest is that you'll get with the break and retest a high of day. All right, so let's change the color of this so we won't get confused. Let's change this to blue. All right, so once we have the break, we mark out the high of that break, right? And then we wait for the retest. We already had that condition met. Now we're waiting for the entry. The condition for that is speed and momentum. We want to make sure buyers are holding, defending this key level, the 5 minute high, and potentially will push the price higher. We get in. We might suffer a little bit of drawdown. Our exit point is the high of day. So that's our goal, all right, for this one contract. If you have multiple contracts, we'll talk about that later. But you'll simply look to scale out once you reach high of day. Now, in this example, did we reach high of day? Did we reach high of day? In this demonstration, did we reach high of day? If I zoom out just a little bit, this is the high of day. Did we reach high of day? Did we eventually reach high of day? No, we did not. No, we did not. And this is why I said that when you see profit, take profit, okay? Because in the same way, we're not waiting for price to fall and touch the key level perfectly, is the same way inverted, right? It's the same thing in reverse. The rule applies in reverse. You don't need to wait until you touch this line exactly. Here's the key. Did we break above the close of the most recent high? Yes, we did. So that's what you could look for. You might want to reach 349, but it's no guarantee that you're going to reach it. So if you reach this point, you could give it one additional candle and say, okay, I'm going to stay in a little bit longer. You see the close of this candle? That's when you could look to, get ready to get out of your position. Because if you wait, obviously the next candle wipes you out. It took everything. The next candle took everything. So if you don't climb higher in the next candle, why wait? Right? Why wait? Now for me, I would have gotten out here. As soon as we jump, we reach 348.66. As soon as we pull back, right before it closes, like at second 57 or 58, that's when I would have jumped out of the trade. Okay. Um, that's when I would have jumped out. Any questions about that? Any questions about that demonstration? Because if you wait, you can see what happens. And in 1 minute, it could take all your money. It could take all of your money. That's what you don't want to happen. That's what you don't want to happen. Let me peek at AMD. Are we still climbing? AMD is struggling, man. Come on, AMD. Let me take a look at this contract really quick. Hold on. Let me switch. What are we doing? I got 9 days. I have 9 days. So I might hold this overnight. I'm going to give it 40 more minutes. See what it does within the next 30 minutes or so. Any questions? Does that make sense to everyone? Susanna says, oh, don't worry, Susanna. I got you. I got you. Nan says, are you doing an option? I'm already in a position. I'm already in a position for AMD. I was looking for a trade for us to do before the close, and I don't think I looked before I actually went live, and I didn't see any. So now I'm just explaining, the break and read test and just going, answering questions. So if you took a trade and you want me to talk about that particular trade, we could do that. Because right now I don't see a trade to enter right now. Let's see, Kim. What's up, Kim? How you doing? You said, do you place a stop loss on your stop? I did. I don't do it every time. Sometimes I just do it mentally, right? I just have a mental stop. But I did enter a trailing stop for my swing trade for AMD today, because you can see. Let me zoom out. Oops, let me just reset. Okay, so right after we opened this morning, we pushed as high as 186 and then we fell. And so once we reached, like, I think it was like at 186 or 185, I had entered a trail stop. And my trail stop, the condition was $60. So if the stock moves against my position and takes $60 from me, then the system will exit the position. And that's what it did. Because obviously you can see this fall here. So as soon as I lost $60, I went as high as 900, and then wait. Yeah, it was was it 900? I think it was 900 or 800. But yeah, so I entered a trail stop for it. Let's see. Susanna says, I've been a crybaby with Tesla. Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. Susanna says, is a love and hate relationship worse than my 29 years of Yo, that's hilarious. What's up, Adam? He says, I have never touched stocks in my life and I want to get into it. I'm 21. Any recommendations? Definitely. So do you know the difference between stock options and stocks? Do you know the difference? If not, I can give you a simple explanation to help you begin your journey. Appreciate you, Susanna. Appreciate that. Michael says, I want to learn. Yeah, Michael, just continue to tap in. I go live every day in the mornings. And then I have a schedule, right, for that. Let's see. So if you can't make the live sessions, don't worry. All you have to do is DM me for the live replay, and I'll send you one single link that you can use to access all the replays. So you'll never have to, request a new link to access future replays. So I got you. Appreciate you, Island Child. Thank you for that. Let's see. Appreciate you, Susanna. Ash, what's up? Are you trading options or futures? Options. I'm trading options, Ash. Adams, no, sir, I do not. Okay, cool. So let's start there. Let's start there. The difference between stock options and stocks, right? Stocks, aka shares, they're synonymous, right? So those two terms mean the same thing. Stocks and shares are the same. Now, with options, the goal is to have control, right? To have control. And it simply gives you the right to buy a stock or share at a time later in the future, right? At some future point, right? At a future date. That's it, right? Now, with one option contract, you will have control over 100 shares, all right? One option contract gives you control over 100 shares. And your follow-up question might be, because this is a fundamental question, right, to ask, why would I trade options versus stocks? Well, because it'll cost way too much money, right, to try to invest in stocks unless you have the money. We're talking hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to try to make, money off of trading stocks. But with options, you can do that in an affordable way. That's the reason why people do it. So they use it to generate income, and you can do that consistently. Obviously, you might have heard that. So, but that's the distinction between options and stocks. All right. So let me know if that helped or if you need me to dive deeper in that explanation. All right, let's see. Kim says he's trading. Appreciate you, Kim. Appreciate you all stepping in and helping to answer questions because it does take me some time to get to everybody. Let's see. Michael says, please do and thank you. Let's see. Susanna, come people. You're getting free nuggets. Tap, tap, tap. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let's see. Kim says, no problem. All right, cool. So I don't have anything else. I don't have anything else to discuss today. I'm just basically managing my position. I was up 2,000. Currently, I'm up 1,400, down 600 from earlier today because of the drop. But yep, still in the green. Still in the green. So let's see. Yeah, this month has been phenomenal. As you can see, like even from my journal. Do you all have any questions about journaling your trades? Do you have any questions about journaling your trades at all? If so, we can go over that. But right now, you can see I'm up $16,000 since June. Since June, 16,000. This month alone, with this if I make 2,000 today, then I'll be over $7,000 just this month. That's crazy. Now, yeah, I appreciate that, Kim. Yeah, it's crazy. Suzanne, you said Tesla's managing you, huh? Yeah. Be careful. Don't let it control you now. Don't let it control you. All right. Don't let it control you. Let's see what Tesla's doing right now. I'm still in Tesla, but right now it's just consolidating. So here's what I would be looking for. If you're looking to enter a trade, for Tesla, I wouldn't enter a trade until we break above this level here. So that's 342. So I wouldn't enter a trade until we broke above this consolidation, because right now we're just consolidating a lot, a lot. If you were able to, this would have been a nice candle to enter on. If you were looking to just enter aggressively on Tesla, this would have been a nice entry here. But this is ill-advised, right? So this is like for skilled traders, or you're just entering a position that's very, very, very small, right? And you're okay with walking away if you lose it. But yeah, I wouldn't enter a trade until after we break above 342.14. And then after we break above, I look for a retest back to this key level to see if we're using it as support, because you could fall back below it. Look how many times Tesla failed. We broke above the 5-minute low. We came back within the 5-minute range, right? But we still kept falling. We tried to continue, fall again, try to continue, fall below the 5-minute low, continue, fall below again, continue, fall below. So yeah, I wouldn't make a trade until after. And if you're looking to swing it overnight, still I would wait till we break above, retest, and use this as support to push off. But I would wait until tomorrow maybe, because I'm not sure if Tesla's going to climb much higher today. It's already 2:30. It can, not that it hasn't before, but yeah. Let's see. Adam says, perfect. That was a good explanation. Just wondering, is there any apps I should download to learn? You want to use my? You want to? I can tell you that, to me. Okay, I'm gonna give you two things, Adam. First, I'm gonna show you who I learned from, and I'm in his mentorship. I paid $3,500 to join his mentorship, so you can see how much I've learned, and I've only been day trading since the end of April. All right, so here is the person I learned from, and then I'll answer your question too. I won't ignore your question. I got you. Just give me a second. All right, so this is the guy I'm learning from. All right, he's a verified trader, multimillionaire, 24 years of age, trading. He's been trading since 7 years, for 7 years now. All right, so you can go to watch this video, or this. Nope, not this one. Sorry. Let me go to his playlist. Hold on. You can go to his playlist and start here, because he uses simple language to explain these concepts, and many people enjoy learning from him because he makes it easy. All right, so you can start with video number 9, or you can start with number 1. All right, so this is the video I watched in earlier this year, like in March. And so I was able to make 20,000 just after watching this video. I made 20,000 a week later, just watching and taking notes from this one video alone. Now, to answer your question about apps, I would like to learn from the source. So to me, Thinkorswim is a reputable source. And so if you're looking for documentation on how to learn about things, I would start with Thinkorswim's documentation, or Investopedia. Investopedia, you might have heard of it or not. Investopedia, this is really good. Investopedia. Oops, didn't mean to click that. So Investopedia is really good for documentation and explaining things as well. So Investopedia or Thinkorswim. Now, what you can do is sometimes they're very they provide a lot of depth. So if you're going to try to consume that, learn in that way, then what I would do is utilize AI like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Google's Gemini. Is it Gemini? I think it's Gemini, right? It was AI Bard, I think it was. I keep getting them confused. But you could take those concepts, paste them in the chat GPT, for example. So if you're struggling to understand something, what I do is I just say, hey, chat, explain this to me as you would an eighth grader, right? An 8-year-old, all right? Using simple language. So it will break things down for you very easily, all right? So that's what I would recommend doing. And I go live. Keep in mind, I go live to share access so you can watch him trade every Monday, every week Monday at 8:30 when the market opens, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. Okay. Let's see. Ash says you give out your trades every morning. I don't. I don't do like Signal because to me it's dangerous. Because the reality is you can lose money, right? And I'm just here to share the information that I've learned. All right. So if you want to learn, I'm here to, answer every single question that you may have. And if I can't answer that question, I'll forward it to my mentor and get an answer from him. But yeah, I don't give out signals, but I will let you know, if I'm looking at a particular stock that I'm interested in trading. For me, it's always going to be primarily Tesla. And then secondary and third options might be AMD or NVIDIA. So I'm watching them all the time. Susanna says, I'm about to get knocked out. I lost $20, $30. I'm done with her. Yeah. When did you enter, Susanna? When did you get in the trade? Nan says, are you doing shorter options? I mean, like 1-day options? I'm doing both. So I day trade. And I just began this month swing trading. So what was it? Earlier this week, I think I mentioned. I think it was Monday. Was it Monday? Or was it Friday? I think it was Monday. Monday, I talked about in the pre-market. I said, hey, everyone, here's what I'm looking for out of Tesla and AMD. And I'm looking to enter 2 types of trades for each stock, right? I'm going to enter a day trade as well as a swing trade. And for both cases, both Tesla and AMD, I won, as you can see from my profits, right? I made, significant return on those investments. So yeah, I'll talk about what I'm looking at. I'll show you why, walk you through it and explain it. But I won't say like, hey, yeah, I just jumped in. I don't do that, but yeah, if that answers your question. Adam says, thank you. Definitely going to start researching now, and I will definitely be tuned in from now on. Appreciate you, Adam. I got you covered. If you have any questions, just tap in, DM me. I'm here. Let's see what AMD is doing now. Are we climbing higher, AMD? Can we move? All right, so AMD might not move any higher today. You can see, what does this look like, everyone? Doesn't this look like consolidation? If you box this in, this is what we're waiting for, right? We're waiting for direction. Will the stock continue higher or will it, drop? So box in, ignore the stuff. This is the choppy stuff. This is how you could quickly lose money. You want clear trend direction, all right? How did I mark these out? Because look at the beginning of the trend. Look at the beginning of the trend. You could just eyeball this, right? The trend starts, we have a pullback, trend continues. Then we have a pullback. Not much more after that. So if you mark this pullback and box it in, we just touched it a couple of times, right? Here's the first, here's the second, here's the third. And then did we climb higher? Well, we tried. So box it in, mark out the top of the highest point, the price rose. And after that, in between is noise. It's just noise. So you don't look to enter a trade if you don't want to get chopped around. But there are sniping opportunities, obviously. So you can still make money. But yeah, other than that, it's just a lot of choppy activity. So you have to be careful. Or when you decide to get in these trades, and if you get in, you'll start to make money consistently. All right. Every single time. Like that's all I'm doing. I'm not even on, if you notice, I'm not even on the live call with my mentor every day. I'm trading on my own. So I've learned and took thorough, comprehensive notes from him so that I could trade on my own and I can look for, understand what I'm looking for and how to properly manage my brokerage account. Because you're just managing money. I'm just managing money and I'm really good at it. If I'm not good at anything else, I'm good at managing money. All right. So, but yeah, Adam says, Kim says, yeah, it looks choppy. Exactly. That's choppy. That's choppiness. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. Let's see. What else? Adam says, are there any websites to practice? I don't know, Adam. I don't know. Um, that's a good question. I might do some research this week, and if I get the answer, DM me. Just DM me and just say, "Hey, this is Adam." And then if I find the answer, I could just forward you what I found. But that's a good question. But here's where I would recommend you begin first. Now, uh, just keep this in mind. All right, just listen carefully to me. Where I would begin is to first identify what strategy you want to use to trade. All right. I use the break and retest, so I'm not saying that you should use it, but this is one that you can look into and begin researching. All right. So pick a strategy that you want to trade and stick with that strategy for at least 1 year. Okay. That would be my recommendation. So choose carefully the strategy you want to use because when you make that decision, let it be a long term decision. All right. Not a temporary thing where you're switching strategies every month. Next, pick a stock that you're interested in learning, all right? Because it's highly recommended that you pick 1 to 2 stocks and learn the way they behave, all right? Third, pick a mentor to learn from, all right? I wouldn't be considered a mentor because I'm also still learning. I just have a good grasp on what I've learned from my mentor, and I'm just sharing all of that for free, all right? So I'm happy to answer questions and do one-on-ones, but my limit, just keep in mind, my knowledge is limited as well, all right? I don't have much experience. I've only been trading since April. But you can just see my P&L and just stay tuned because I'm transparent, 1000% transparent. I show all my trades, all my losses, wins, everything. I'm just really good at managing money. That's it. All right. So I'm just really good at this. And I was that way before I started trading. All right. Now, so if you do those 3 things, you could use Scarface as your mentor, or you can, do your due diligence, check into them, or you can find some other mentor. And whatever mentor you pick, they're they're going to show you the strategy they use, and you can look to investigate that strategy, see if you believe it fits your personality and the way you like to trade, and if so, that's the strategy that you can choose to trade. Let's see. Are there any? No, I answered that one. Motivated always. You said Trading View, Adam. Okay, perfect. Thank you. You're welcome. Let's see. Thinkorswim to practice. Yeah, you could use any brokerage to practice because they include a paper trading account where you get to take live trades. You get to take live trades, but you don't have to risk any of your own money. All right, so every brokerage account should have it, right? Robinhood, Webull, Thinkorswim, IBKR. You can even paper trade in Trading View. You can even do it in Trading View as well. Let's see, paper trade, motivated always. Yeah, definitely. I recommend paper trading. Definitely recommend that. Let's see. Kim says, when you trade, are margins included? I'm confused about that. Uh, are you talking about the brokerage account? If let me know if you're referring to the brokerage account margins being approved in the brokerage account, because that's something that you would request when you're signing up for your brokerage account, if you're talking about margins within the brokerage account. And when you get accepted, yeah. So you could say, hey, I don't want margins. All right. So That's what skilled traders use to leverage, to have more leverage, right? So they can make more money. But you're taking on a lot of risk, so you don't need margins. Um, but you're more than welcome to. I mean, if you get to that point, like once you get to that point, but I think that would be like after what, 3 years or something like that. um, but yeah, so you'll see in your account they'll let you. So let's say you had $1,000 in your account, but you have a margin of, let's say, I don't know, 20,000 or 10,000. They will let you take a position of up to $10,000. You're basically borrowing from the brokerage. Um, so yeah, but yeah, that I don't feel like you'll need that at all, until you become, a very skilled trader. But yeah, I would not use margins because you're borrowing from the brokerage. Is Robinhood a good place to buy stocks? Yeah, you can use Robinhood. You can use any brokerage, IBKR, Thinkorswim, Webull, Robinhood. Um, there's so many of them out there. Now you just want to use the. You just want to use. Here's the thing. Remember, you might have heard that. Remember when everyone was trading. Remember when everyone was trading GameStop? Everyone who was using Robinhood got stopped out of their trade, even those who were making a lot of money. So you just have to be careful with the brokerage account that you choose, right? Because when you choose them, they're going to provide you with the terms and conditions, and you need to read those carefully. Um, and if you don't understand what you're seeing when you read that paperwork, that documentation, paste it in the chat GPT and have it explain it. But be careful because that was one of the disclosures that they had, right? They could stop your account. So there were people making so much money on that GameStop trade, and they ended up getting stopped. And Robinhood froze the platform, so you couldn't enter a trade, you couldn't exit, you couldn't do anything, you couldn't access your money, nothing. So yeah, you just want to be careful. Read the documentation to make sure you see what the disclosures say. Kim says, "How do we remove it? Because I think that's on my account." You can call them and ask. Like Thinkorswim is really, man, their customer service. I feel like their customer service is outstanding. So that's another thing. You might want to like do a test run to call whatever brokerage account or brokerage platform you decide to choose. I would do a test call and call their customer service and talk to them a couple of times, right? Make at least 3 calls, right? Test them out and see if you like their service and how they treat you. Because Thinkorswim, man, to me, they're like really good. I mean, they make you feel like you're worth a lot of money, even if you got like $100 in your, they make you feel good when you call. So yeah, I don't know how to remove it, but I'll check later today and see. I'll check later today. So I'll help you. I'll help you too. But yeah, I would call Kim and let me know what they say. Let me know if you do call them. Let me know what they say. All right, cool. I don't know what is going on with. Why do they keep kicking me out? So right now, the market is going to close in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. AMD isn't doing much. I have 9 days for this one contract, this one position to expire. So I don't even have to jump out. Oh, it's on Thinkorswim? Okay, yeah. They're really good. So I would call Thinkorswim and let me know what they said about that. Because yeah, you selected it in the application part. And I think there was 2 buttons because I if I recall, I mean I filled my application out long, back in April, no, October. So that was a while ago. So I don't remember, but I thought there was 2 buttons right next to each other, right? Two checkbox fields. Uh, yeah. So if you all, do you have any other questions? I don't have anything else to go over today. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, enter a live trade, but we did go over some valuable information, answered a bunch of questions. And if you need this replay, it will be available in the replay folder. I just have to upload it. Man, I forgot to record this session too, but TikTok records it, so it'll just be the TikTok recording. Unfortunately, you won't have the timestamps, but it will be in the folder. Let's see. With that said, we can call it. We can call it if there's no additional questions. We can call it. I can hang back for, let's say, 2 more minutes and see if anyone has any additional questions. Let's see. Do I think is AMD? What is AMD doing here? Appreciate you as well, Michael. Thank you for joining. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the follows. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate all of you. And you're welcome, Kim. I got you covered. Got you covered. All right. Let's see. Oh, man, we're falling again. All right. Well, thank you all for joining today's live. Like I said, you have the schedule in the free community, so just make sure to stay, just keep an eye out on the schedule because things will change. And then just keep an eye out on the general chat channel for news and announcements. All right. So I'm going to drop the mic right here. I appreciate all of you. Thank you all for tuning in to today's live, and you all have a good rest of your day. All right. Later.